audiences, and we're back here on Table Talk. Today is a little bit different because we're not live, and as you can see, I've got a special guest here with me. He is Mike Bellafiore. He is the author of 2 great books, and I've known him when I was in the financial industry, and that's how I got to know him through his first book, and brought him down to Singapore for some talks, and he's back again in Singapore for Invest Fair 2016. So we're very lucky and privileged to have him here for us to talk about investments and particularly women in investments. So Mike, thank you for coming down here today, all the way to my office today. And yes, how do you feel now that you're back in Singapore after so many years?
I don't think that I would be here doing this trip if it wasn't for you.
Oh, thank you.
But I feel okay. It takes about 3 days to get over the jet lag, and so we're in about day 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of losing the fog over my head, but we're doing a little bit better. It's 3 o'clock in the morning back home.
Okay.
But
yeah.
But having a good time.
He still lucid. He still makes sense, which is good. So could you tell my audience a little bit more about yourself, because they may not know you, since most of them are actually females.
Okay. So I run a proprietary trading firm in New York City, in Manhattan, called SMB Capital. I started the firm about 10 years ago. And what a proprietary trading firm does is we back traders with their own capital and their own technology. They come in and trade. We teach traders from scratch to consistently profitable and then high-performing trader. And then for the best of the best, 7-figure trader, or as you say, $1 million trader. And then maybe multi-million-dollar trader. We trade stocks, we trade options, we trade futures, and we are automated traders as well.
I like that part. I want to be an automated trader too. I'm just working there. So we've had this conversation before about why there are so few women in the industry, and specifically trading. I mean, I was in the financial industry for the past 10 years, and I could only count 2 female traders. So why do you think that is the case in the whole world?
So we have 4 right now. We have an options desk, which is all virtual. So we have some female traders on that desk, and a couple on our desk, and a couple of female interns, actually. And we've had this conversation for a long time, and I've always been perplexed as to why more females do not apply to our firm. But they just don't. The resumes, the ratio of resumes male to female is 99% to 1%.
Wow.
So trading is a very difficult sport. So maybe the first answer is females are very smart and intuitive, and they stay away from something that is, in some cases, impossibly hard.
That sounds like you're saying that we are lazy.
I meant that as a compliment, meaning trading is for people that suspend disbelief in being able to achieve something that is pretty hard. The reality is that 99% of the people that try and trade fail. They don't make it. Those aren't the numbers at our firm, because we are selective, right? So we don't just bring in everyone. But it's very difficult to do. There are other theories that perhaps a trading floor is not the you probably know this. It's probably not the most mature place that anyone will ever visit. I would say I know when I first started trading back in the 90s, if a female walked onto our trading desk, things were said that should not have been said.
Okay.
And in fact, the only reason why they were funny was because you had these Ivy League educated, former Division I athletes saying things that were ridiculous to be said. So there was definitely a pocket, old school, where people were saying things where women would feel uncomfortable. They were inappropriate. That's been disbanded from lots of desks. I mean, if you walk, I can tell you that just the other day, we have something called our AM sheet. So if you're a young trader and you come onto our desk,
Yeah.
you present your best ideas in an Excel sheet, which we share with all the younger traders. And we can check to see how good your idea generation is, and then you can see ideas from other people. Somebody wrote something on there that was sexist.
Oh.
And I took that trader into my office and I said, you can't say that, you can't write that.
Yep, that's unacceptable.
And he was like, oh, I didn't realize anybody reads it. And I said, I don't care. Well, first of all, people obviously would read it.
Yeah, you did.
And second of all, that's not a good reason for what you wrote. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't a terrible thing. It just was not appropriate. So a lot of that has been tamped down.
True.
Because people are more mature. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure why more women don't get into it. Maybe more women will get into it as automated trading becomes more prevalent. There'll be different skill sets that'll be highlighted by markets. And trading is, Mary and I were talking about this before, trading is been democratized. When I first started trading, the firm that I traded at was one of the few firms you could go to other than being a floor trader where you could compete against big banks.
Yep.
And then now pretty much anyone can do it, right?
Correct.
And then it used to be, well, that was true in the States, but not necessarily elsewhere. Now it's global.
But do you think that maybe that has a bit of an effect as well? Because when too many people have access to internet trading, you hear a lot about the people who get burnt.
Yep.
And because us women, we tend to be the kind that, I want to save up, I want to be careful.
Yeah.
And that's why when you hear all these stories about all these silly people who have tried to trade and then they got burnt, all the more I would not want to do it.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was talking to some people where one of my directors, his son is really, really smart. He's, I think, 12 or 10 years old. And he instinctively understood how to arbitrage. So I jokingly said to my director, can you bring your son here? I'll teach him how to trade and then he can do my investments for me. And his reaction immediately was, no, I'm not going to teach my son how to gamble. And if he has that kind of mindset, his wife is even worse because he actually allows his son to do all these, what I call arbitrage trading. But of course, they're not trading in stocks and shares, they're actually trading in toys and computer games and a lot of things that I don't know what kids these days trade in. But that was what his son was doing. Right? And he allows his son to do it. But his wife doesn't allow their son to do that.
Let me tackle 3 of those points.
Yep, sorry.
First, I first started trading when I was in middle school. We traded baseball cards. And we would arbitrage. We learned how to arbitrage by giving somebody a lesser player for a better player and them not knowing it. Secondly, there is research that suggests women are more responsible with money. And so trading, they may be they may be quickly understanding that they have to be more careful with their money than other people. And then lastly, I would just say that we have on our desk, on our options desk, we have 2 females. They're 2 of our better traders. One of them is, for lack of a better description, a housewife. She still is. She's a housewife / professional options trader. Pound for pound, percentage for percentage, she's one of the top 3 traders on our desk. One of the most aggressive traders we have on the desk is a female trader who lives in New Jersey. And we actually have to talk to her about being more selective with her aggressiveness. And we love the aggressiveness. That's one of the things that's hard to teach as a trader is being naturally aggressive. She's so aggressive, which is great. Tone down a little bit. So there are exceptions.
Yeah, I've read this statistics that in Korea, the biggest number or the largest group of option traders are housewives. Yeah, in Korea. And it has to do with education as well because a lot of these brokers actually teach these housewives how to trade in options, which is why housewives, they can do it, after they've done the housework, all they do is just set up their laptops and then they start trading. So do you think maybe education is part of the thing? Like instinctively people or parents are telling their children that, as a female you should study this, or there's a stereotype, or what do you think?
So when I first started trading, I sat next to a female trader. She's retired, and she's retired because she doesn't need to work anymore.
I want to be like that one day.
She was a terrific trader. So I come from an experience in the background where I've seen female traders do really well. And some of our best traders are female on our desk. So it's interesting. Options trading, that makes a lot of sense to me. Options trading is more sophisticated than equities trading. I'm predominantly an equities trader. And then I think the other thing about options trading is that you don't have to be in front of screens 10 hours a day like I do. So it enables them to express ideas in ways that are not as time consuming as perhaps an equity trader. So there's no, trading is not, just getting back to your last question, trading is not gambling. Trading is a skill.
I agree with you.
For trade, one of our good traders who I'm going to talk about at a presentation tomorrow, I was looking over his statistics for the month. He's up $100,000 this month. He's been negative one day for the entire month. So the month isn't over. He's been negative for one day and he's made over $100,000. He's either the world's greatest gambler, the luckiest person on the face of the earth, or he has skill.
Yes.
And every trade he makes has edge. If you are trading and you don't have skill and edge, then you're gambling. If you're trading and you have skill and you have edge, you're not gambling.
Would you hire more female traders?
Of course we would. When somebody comes into our firm, there are certain characteristics that we're looking for. And we are looking for people who have a passion for trading. It's generally expressed by having done some trading in the past, whether that's demo trading or whether that's live. We look for people that have a history of success. So perhaps they're athletes, perhaps they've started a trading club, perhaps they have a history in music. We look for people that want to improve. And when we ask them questions, show that. We look for people who are self-critical. We look for people who understand what they need to improve about themselves. So we're just one firm doing one thing in one place, one moment in time. We don't have all the answers, but there are certain people who fit into our culture. If people fit into our culture, we extend them an invitation, and they come in, and we train them and bring them up the curve, and hope they become $1 million traders, 7-figure traders, multi-million-dollar traders.
I prefer $1 million traders.
That takes time. That takes 3 to 5 years. For the best.
I think 3 to 5 years still sounds really short. There are a lot of people who think that anyone and everyone who trades is a millionaire.
We need to talk to some of our younger guys though, because they want to be multi-million-dollar traders in month 3.
Oh goodness gracious!
And that's a lot of what we do is say, hey, this is a process. It takes time to become good. Here's what we're going to try and accomplish in the first month. Here's what we're going to try and accomplish in the next 3 months. Here's what we're going to try and accomplish after that. Here's where we think you should be after year 1. Here's where you should be after year 2. And here are our expectations. So they tamp down those unrealistic expectations, which really get in the way of progress and being a trader. Our best trader, Shark, the thing that stands out of his brilliance, dare I say, is he doesn't force anything. And in fact, the times that he underperforms in the marketplace is always the times where he gets a number in his head and tries to hit a number, and he's reflective about this and says, I was trying to make $100,000 this week, and because I was thinking about that, I didn't trade as well as I should have. If I just sit back, wait for opportunities, and then react, that's when I do best.
That is true. I've heard a lot of traders, they have all said the same thing. So what would you say to anybody who wants to be a trader and they think that it's a very glamorous job? What advice would you give them?
It's not a glamorous job.
It's not a glamorous job.
It is a job where you go in, and it's really like being a professional athlete. The training part. It's like being an Olympic athlete. The training part.
Homework.
Yeah. The best traders prepare the best, review the best, look into their data to understand their niche the best, master their game. Our most successful trader over the last 3 years comes in Saturday and Sunday and reviews all of his trading, creates Excel spreadsheets to measure certain new trades that he's thinking about trading, to measure how we can trade his trades better, outworking all of the other people. And in fact, he's now elevated himself where he has his own team of traders. And I was talking to him at happy hour the other day, and he doesn't understand he doesn't understand why he's one of the few people and why everyone isn't in the office on Saturday and Sunday. The same thing with Shark. The just really, really hard workers. That doesn't mean if you are a hard worker, you're going to be a good trader, because there's a lot of people that work really hard that just don't have the ability, or maybe they're not trading the right product, or maybe they're not trading the right strategy for themselves, or maybe they just don't have it. Maybe they just don't have the talent, which is fine. But no, trading is an exercise in trying to be as good as you can be, pushing yourself to be a better person, and then that showing up in your trading.
Yeah. So for those who want to start out, I think we should all read your book, right? Find out more about what it means to be a trader. If you are serious about it, I think there are a lot of good tips in here as well. I've heard the same thing from all traders, not just Mike. There's a lot of work involved in being a trader. If you're serious about it, there are a lot of people who are willing to help. You blog a lot, you tweet a lot as well, which is very, very helpful for the community.
And now I use Instagram.
And yes, he's on Instagram. Yes, we should.
And then I think what we really try and do is I have the opportunity to work with people who are trying to become professional traders at a very serious level. And I get to watch lots of people try, and people become very successful. And I share in One Good Trader in the Playbook the people that have become successful and what's unique about them and why they become successful and some of the setups that they use to be successful. So you always get a glimpse into proprietary traders who are doing well. So if people can co-opt them and perhaps understand what they're like and their journey, that's our unique contribution to the trading community.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I think I know I'm not cut out to be a trader. I can be a long-term investor. That's me. And when I was trading FX, it really tested my patience. It tested my risk appetite. So I can totally understand the whole psychology that you were talking about. And it's not for everyone, but I think it's important for women, especially, to try it out. Don't think that you're not cut out for it. And all the more in today's world, it's important to invest your money, and more women need to have that information and education. So thank you, Mike, for coming down all the way today. Thank you for sharing your stories. Really looking forward to seeing you back in Singapore again, and maybe the next time I'll be in New York to say hi to you again. Yeah, thank you.
That'd be great. Okay, thanks, Melissa.
Bye.